The United States is one of the most expensive countries to study in, so with these strategies today, hopefully you can get some money in your pocket or even graduate debt-free. Now, most of my videos are about helping United States citizens blow up, shawate their money, but today we're helping out our international brothers and sisters with this one. Let's go. First, let's understand the cost. Tuition is going to be a big part of your fees and expenses that you have to keep account of. Now, you're going to be paying a lot more than domestic students, of course, but other things you need to be thinking about is like where you're going to live, if there's going to be a housing plan, if there's going to be a meal plan, and then you also have extra fees associated with your passport and visas and just being a legal studying student while you're in the United States, because you don't want to fall into some legal loophole where you have to get sent back to your country early. I would be thinking about a degree major and then do a quick Google search. What's the best city? What's the best state for international students as far as safety goes? And then within that state, look at which school has the best program that I'm into. And if you don't really care about the particular state or city that you're in, just start with which school has the best program for what I'm trying to get into. And then I'm going to be on that website looking at tuition costs. They should have a section for international students that you can look at, or have a number that you can call and get in contact with somebody. Establishing relationships is also key when you're thinking about getting into an institution. Now, as far as money goes, you want to be looking at scholarships early. There's Fulbright scholarship programs which cater to international students. There's also Empower Financing that also does business with international students. You want to be on those websites looking to see what is available to you. And then within the school that you apply to, you want to ask about if they have any financing, special financing, or scholarships for international students. And sometimes even your country has scholarships, grants set up for students to be traveling internationally because they want to help out their citizens. Like scholarships, grants are things you don't have to pay back. So check out Rotary International or Education USA. I'm going to be throwing a lot of things at you guys today, so don't worry if you don't understand what I'm talking about. You can check out the links that are going to be provided for you in the description. And sometimes you're going into a specific field that people need more research on. So let's say you have a niche engineering degree that you want to get into and there's not a lot of research around that. You may be able to get some money if you say, hey, I will devote this much time to researching this particular problem. Could you give me some kickback? Can you give me some money? Help me out, and I will be that research assistant for you. So worst case scenario, you don't get any grants, you don't get any scholarships. Your next line of defense is unfortunately student loans. Now, international students do not have access to federal loans, so you may have to go through a private lender. Now, there's a lot of talk about how Sallie Mae has just ruined people because they have horrible rates. So you want to be very particular about who you are giving this agreement to repay back to when it comes to loans. You want to make sure the rates are reasonably low. You can always be Googling or ChatGPTing, hey, what is the most common rate that international students pay on loans? And if the common rate is like, say, 7%, and this particular private lender is trying to do 22%, you know that that is not the one for you. But loan companies typically want some insurance as far as, do we trust this person? Also known as a cosigner, but there are non-cosign loan people such as Empower and Prodigy Finance. Now, if you're trying to work off campus, you got to have your F1 visa intact, and then that's going to allow you to get some hours typically on campus, and this is going to be for about 20 hours each week, and you can't exceed that, and it may not be a lot of money, but it's better than nothing. This is going to be able to pay for your books. And speaking of books, the bookstore is going to have a higher price on these books books. So if you have some extra cash available, just write down all the books that you need to study and then go on Amazon and get it at a cheaper price. If you are not doing what they outline within that particular visa, say for instance, the visa says that you specifically have to work on campus and then you're trying to go off campus and do something, get money under the table, you are going to be at risk at losing everything and getting kicked out and going back home. So whatever the fine print of those visas stipulate in the documentation, you got to follow that to a T. You don't want to be the type of person that's representing your country in a negative way. Follow the rules. Another thing you want to think about is opening up a US bank account. This is again where you're going to want to Google or ChatGPT which banks are international student friendly, where they're going to give you a nice rate, nice low rates when it comes to you transferring money back into your own country's currency, or whatever fees they have, they're going to be lower because they understand that you're an international student and they're not just trying to rip you off. And this also sets up the fact that you're going to be able to invest in a brokerage account, but that's going to be a different video for a different day. But you want to have a bank account where you can put money that you're receiving from a potential job into that you can then use if you want to go out with some friends, go to Taco Bell. Me and my wife used to do that every other weekend. We'd study, have some Taco Bell. But anyway, we're about halfway through our list. Let me know in the comments if you're liking the information that I'm putting down. Comment education below if this is making sense for you and you're getting excited about being an international student in the United States. Thinking about credit cards is another form of getting established and having access to money in a pinch. But do not be using the credit card if you do not have the money or the means to back it up, because you don't want to be getting in crazy amounts of debt on credit cards, which have a higher interest rate, and you're also in debt because you have student loans. Just make sure you're responsible each and every step with whatever card you're getting. Do a card that has like a cash back service. So whatever you pay for, you're getting a little kickback in the fact that you're using the card. And then if you're racking up so many cash points, then you can also take yourself out for a nice dinner or whatever. Other ways you can be saving money as an international student is not living on campus if that's at all possible. I know my first year at St. Martin's, freshmen were required to live on campus, but as an international student, it might be different for you. So if you have a group of friends going to the same school and you have access to a house that you guys can all share the rent cost. And then another big thing that people don't talk about, I try to tell my current students in high school all the time, do not buy a car, do not buy a used car, get a bus pass. Right now in Clallam County, our buses are free. You should be taking advantage of that all day. So when you're in your city, hopefully it's a big enough city that has a great transportation system, look to see if you can get a bus pass, or the fact that you're a student, you can even get a reduced fare on that particular pass or fares in general. And then typically universities will have gyms, so you don't need a gym membership. Utilize all the different amenities that are going to be at your school so you don't have extra expenses that you have to account for. Okay, we're almost done with our list, but we got to talk about red flags and scams. If you're at a website and it's .com and it's relating to colleges, you're probably in the wrong spot. Look for .gov, .org, .edu. Those are the safest bets that you can do for yourself when it comes to not being scammed. Unless you're at bbb.com, where it's rating all other businesses that you are trying to look at. So if you are at a particular website and you're like, this doesn't seem legit, these rates are too high, you can go to bbb.com and see if there are already any open red flags against that particular business. And you can always Google, is blah, blah, blah legit? And then Google's AI Gemini will help you understand what's going on with that particular company. Other things to avoid is things that say guaranteed acceptance, blah, blah, blah. Nothing should be guaranteed, especially if they're talking about scholarships. Be wary of if it sounds too good to be true, because it typically is. If there's one thing that you take away from this video, make sure you're comparing the interest rate that you see on a particular website to what the average is. Do not get locked into something with crazy high interest rates, because it's going to be so difficult to pay them off. Correction, BBB is a .org, so even better. Another thing to think about is when you're looking at banks, you want to make sure that they are FDIC insured. You can scroll down to the very bottom of the website and there should be a little emblem or symbol that says FDIC insured. I'm also going to leave a website in the description where you can check to see if your bank is FDIC insured. And that's just an insurance to where if the bank has to close down, the government can give you your money back up to $250,000. Okay, as we're wrapping up, let me know in the comments if you are an international student finding value in this video. Let me know where you're from. Rep your country, be proud of your country, and if you do decide to come over to the United States to study, no matter what you see in the news or whatever social media clips that you may be watching, we welcome you and we are so thankful that you are here and willing to spend time with us and willing to spend your money with us, because we know that you could go mostly anywhere in the world to do what it is that you're trying to do, and we appreciate that you're learning with us. And again, if you want me to talk about how international students could start investing while they're here, let me know. It'd have to be a different video, but if there's only like one person interested in it, sorry, I'm not going to do it. But if I get a few people saying yes, give me more. So let's say write invest in the comments if you want me to do that follow-up video where I talk about how international students can begin investing. And then last but not least, because I want to give you a lot of value, here's what you're going to do. You're going to have ChatGPT. You're just going to ask it, I'm planning to study in the United States. Give me a checklist of everything I need to do before I move out and go over there. And it's gonna run you through step by step, all the documentation, all the fees, blah, 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 everything that you need to be successful on your adventures. And that's gonna do it for this episode. If you found value in this video, please share this with somebody and comment below what helped, what you need more information on. Specifically, if you want to talk to me about how international students can start investing while they're in the States, don't forget to pay that like tax. And until the next one, remember to smile because you are beautiful. Peace.